Put your faith in the light.
Hello guys, welcome to another one of my videos. This is Lightblade, and well, in this one I wanted to talk about something that is not mentioned very often in most M+ guides or videos, and it's mostly because of the random nature of the topic. I'm referring to tertiary stats. So what are tertiary stats? To put it simple, they are bonus extra stats that can randomly appear on gear in the same manner as a socket can. They are small leftover from the Titan forging era of the World of Warcraft and are pretty rare, but can be extremely useful. The stats themselves are: Avoidance reduces AoE damage taken, Leech converts damage and healing done into personal healing, Speed makes you move faster by a percentage, and Indestructible, that piece of gear can't take durability damage when you die. So in this video we'll be talking about the three important ones for Mythic Plus content: Avoidance, Leech, and Speed. Indestructible is a nice bonus but pretty useless in combat. So with that being said, let's start with the video. Okay, let's start with the most important of the tertiary stats, Avoidance. Avoidance is incredibly powerful in the world of Mythic Plus since it reduces the AoE damage that we take, and AoE damage happens very often in Mythic Plus, sometimes even being just unavoidable. Its importance also grows with key level because the higher the key, the more damage that will happen, and the more Avoidance will help to mitigate those deadly or close to deadly hits. For some classes like Hunters or Shamans, Avoidance can mean the difference of surviving by themselves or needing an external defensive or just flat out dying. Other classes like, for example, us, Retribution Paladins, become juggernauts able to withstand massive AoE hits with no problem whatsoever due to having extra talents that give innate avoidance, like 10% from Sanctified Plates, and we can even get an extra 2% with Obdurancy. Avoidance, the stat, has a hard cap of 20%. That in the current Dragonflight expansion is around 1852 avoidance rating. For us Retribution Paladins, this avoidance stacks with Sanctified Plates and Obdurancy, like I said before, in a multiplicative manner, that at cap, after doing the math, will give us around 30% passive damage reduction from AoE abilities. This is not accounting versatility, so our damage reduction can even go higher. Should you sacrifice DPS for Avoidance? Yes, but with certain conditions. First, only use the Avoidance piece if it's one tier under your higher item level piece. So let's say if you have a fully maxed Mythic 489 piece of gear without Avoidance, and the same piece on a maxed 483 heroic track, use the heroic one since the DPS sacrifice is very small and the survivability gain is huge. Second, don't do this with weapons. Always use your highest item level weapon regardless of it has or hasn't Avoidance, because the DPS sacrifice is just too much to use a lower item level weapon. Third, trinkets are special cases. Even with Avoidance, if the DPS sacrifice is too high, it's better just to use a good trinket without Avoidance than a mediocre one with it, So you'll have to sim yourself for this. As you can see, Avoidance is a very powerful stat, but we still have two more to talk about, so let's go to the next one. Leech. Okay, Leech is the second in terms of importance for Mythic Plus. While not as powerful as Avoidance, since preventing damage is a bit stronger than recovery, it still helps with a lot with survivability, and was pretty overpowered until Blizzard nerfed it recently in the last season of Mythic Plus, since people were stacking it and just running groups of 4 DPS and a tank to do like some high keys. Leech doesn't have a cap like Avoidance, but the nerf prevented it from being easily stackable, so you get very less value even if you have like a high amounts of Leech. Even after that, it remains a very powerful tertiary stat. For Retribution Paladins, we can actually double dip into it, getting healing from our damage as well as from passive healing from talents like Crusader's Reprieve and Lightford's Blessing. So if we're healing the group or ourselves, we're going to get extra healing from our Leech. Should you sacrifice DPS for Leech? The answer here is no. While yes, it can be powerful, it's not worth to sacrifice extra stamina and damage from higher item level pieces for Leech. But if you get it on a max item level piece, let's say on the Mythic track, of course use it. It's really good. Now let's go to the next tertiary stat. Speed. So speed is third in value here because although moving fast can have its benefit in Mythic Plus, like moving from mechanics or catching up to your group if you don't have your horse available as a Retribution Paladin, which is really sad, it's less impactful than actively recovering or preventing damage. But don't get me wrong, if you happen to have a piece of gear with speed on it at max item level, use it, it's really good if you don't have any of the other like more impactful tertiary stats. Speed also has very harsh diminishing returns, so the more rating of speed you get, the less percentage of speed you'll benefit from. Should you sacrifice DPS for speed? The answer here is very easy, no. Speed is nice, it's a really nice bonus, but it's not impactful enough to justify sacrificing DPS or stamina from the higher item level pieces. And there you go, guys. As you can see, tertiary stats are very important if you're looking to push into higher key levels. They give pretty powerful bonuses to survivability. Sadly, the way of getting them is very limited. We can get a small amount from enchantments, but the only other way is by random chance. So if you see a piece with one of these, don't pass over it. And well, guys, that's going to be all for today. I hope you enjoyed the content, and if you did, subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. Thanks for watching, everyone.